From Mindanao throughout the country, a new dawn is coming to the Philippine countryside. One that will see a robust agriculture and fisheries sector that supports the government's agenda of inclusive growth.
1/3 of the workforce ng ating pong bansa ay umaasa po sa agrikultura. So kung ito pong 1/3 of the workforce ng ating bansa ay matutulungan natin sa pamamagitan po ng Philippine Rural Development Project, at least malaking pong portion ng ating pamayanan ang mababagong buhay.
In order to achieve inclusive growth, to eliminate poverty, agribusiness or agriculture is essential. Large portion of the poor, in fact, majority of the poor live in the rural areas. They're mostly farmers and fisher folks. And it is through agriculture that they will be able to pull themselves out of poverty.
To realize that vision, the Philippine Rural Development Project, or PRDP, is designed to create a government platform for a modern, climate-smart, and market-oriented agri-fishery sector that will increase income and create more economic opportunities in rural communities.
Kasama po ito sa obligasyon ng administrasyon ng Pangulong Noynoy Aquino na dapat magkaroon ng inclusive growth. Dapat po ay wala pong maiiwanan.
One of the very crucial achievements that the Department of Agriculture has achieved under MRDP is the fact that they have proven that both the national agency and local government units can partner together to make things happen in a sustainable and financially viable way. That has been proven in the past 10 years of experience of Mindanao. What is very important now is the fact that we level up that kind of approach. We put in more technical considerations, more science-based facts, and put in a very strong emphasis on market demand and access to markets.
PRDP is a 27.5 billion peso project jointly funded by the World Bank, the national government, and the local government units, with additional grant from the Global Environment Facility.
PRDP is our largest flagship operation in the country's partnership strategy that targets rural development. So we consider PRDP to be the main instrument that we have developed with the Department of Agriculture to attack poverty in rural areas.
Once we infuse the proper interventions dito po sa agriculture, sama-sama pong aangat yung mga kababayan natin, most especially po yung nandun sa rural areas. Ito po yung pinakamalaking tool ng Aquino administration to combat poverty.
The project will also ensure good governance is observed in project implementation through transparency and accountability measures.
One thing that is notable is this administration's insistence and President's insistence on accountability and transparency and delivery of services. And one of the hallmarks of PRDP is it has a lot of investments in infrastructure investments, but all the investments are what's called geotag.
With this geotagging system, wala na po kayong pagdududa na pwedeng dayain. Wala na po tayong pagdududa na may ghost project. At ang maganda po nito talaga pong from the very beginning, alam mong may pagdadalahang tama.
At the local level, PRDP would establish a convergence platform among national line agencies, producers, private sector, civil society, academe, and other stakeholders.
Ang mga local government units ay napatunayan natin na isang mabisa at napakagandang kapartner ng Department of Agriculture sa pag-implement ng magagandang proyekto.
The private sector will play a very important role in the Philippine Rural Development Program. Their participation and active involvement in this would be very crucial. In the same way that production is very much needed at the production level, for these private sector enterprises, it's very important that both the producers as well as the private sector will come together and have formal marketing contracts through the program. And that's the only way by which production would also be more competitive, more market-driven and responsive to the needs of the market.
The emphasis on market-oriented approach means the use of planning tools, particularly value chain analysis or VCA, and expanded vulnerability and suitability assessment or EVSA.
isang buong chain ng pag-aaral natin. On the one end, andyan po yung market. And ano po yung mga kailangan natin to reach that market? This is a whole comprehensive approach sa agriculture ngayon.
Vulnerability and suitability assessment, ito ay tumutulong sa atin para ma-identify kung saan ba talaga na mga area according dun sa agroedaphic suitability na suitable ang pagtatanim ng isang crop.
The four major components under PRDP are the investments in AFMP planning at the local and national levels, or I-Plan. This component aims to enhance the agriculture and fisheries modernization plan through science-based tools and to harmonize regional and provincial agriculture and fisheries modernization plan through the formulation of the Provincial Commodity Investment Plan using value chain approach.
Dito sa Philippine Rural Development Project, nagpo-focus tayo sa konsepto ng value chain analysis. Tinitingnan natin kung sa buong commodity, whether it is pang probinsya lang, pang isang rehiyon, o across different regions, tinitingnan natin ngayon ano yung mga problema, balakid, and constraints. Yun yung ating binibigyan ng atensyon. So, kung ano yung mga pangangailangan dito, tinatahin natin. Kailangan nila ng infrastructure support, kailangan nila ng investment opportunities sa marketing, sa processing, sa production. At tinutugunan natin lahat yun.
The intensified building up of infrastructure and logistics for development, or I-Build. This component aims to improve the links from production areas to markets and put in place strategic and climate-resilient rural infrastructure along the value chain.
Pag-aaralan kung ano yung pinakamagandang crop according dun sa kung ano yung mga preference ng probinsya, mga preference ng LGU, and together with the farmers. At titignan po natin, how do we get there? What are the agri-infrastructure that are needed? At yun po yung itinatayo. Kung kinakailangan po ito ay nasa irigasyon, kung ito po ay kinakailangan ng kalsada, yan po ang ipagagawa ng PRDP. At yan po yung patungo doon sa market.
The investments in rural enterprises and agriculture and fisheries productivity, or I-REAP. This component aims for higher agricultural productivity, resulting in higher volume of outputs and more efficient support facilities. I-REAP also aims to engage various sectors into production of marketable surplus through strategic investments in priority commodity value chains. It shall strengthen and develop viable agri-fishery enterprises through efficient value chain of key regional agri-fishery products.
Bukod sa mga local government units, kinakailangan na ang mga private sector ay talagang kasama natin sa engagement natin. Similar with what we do with the local government units, kasama rin natin sila sa pag-craft ng ating pag-aaral sa value chain, sa pag-craft sa Provincial Commodity Investment Plan, at paggawa ng ating mga tinatawag na individual business plan. Kasi sila yung mga industry players, sila yung nakakaalam talaga kung ano yung problema, ano yung kalakasan ng mga produkto at commodities.
The implementation support to PRDP, or I-Support. This component aims to provide efficient and effective project management and implementation, establish a standard on services and technical assistance, an effective mode of engagement with LGUs.
Under PRDP, beyond the financial investment structure would be some institutional incentives also to help them further strengthen their collaboration for achieving food security and sustainable and viable agribusiness ventures.
PRDP is an upscale version of the Mindanao Rural Development Program, or MRDP. It will build on strengthened partnership with local government units and take stock of the gains of MRDP, where innovations like the use of geotagging technology in project implementation were introduced.
Ang mga best practices natin nun ay yung geotagging na nakita natin na napaka-epektibo sa ating monitoring and evaluation for transparency and good governance. So, pagdating naman sa PRDP, ni-level up pa natin yan. Dadagdagan natin ng additional scientific tools para ma-ensure natin na yung ating pag-target pagpili ng mga LGUs, pagpili ng mga intervention ay talagang naangkop at tama sa isang geographic location at naangkop para sa mga mamamayan.
The PRDP projects are akin dun sa DA regular programs. Also, what we tried to do is to harmonize the DA programs and the PRDP programs.
Part of the principle that we've always adhered to as the World Bank in working with the Philippine government, particularly through the Department of Agriculture under the Mindanao Rural Development Program, is politics in itself is not bad. It is a very good catalyst. Political ownership and commitment is critical and crucial to all development interventions to succeed. We have been successful in harnessing that under MRDP. Now under PRDP, what we are only trying to do is to make the approach more integrated across various smaller LGUs so that together, municipal LGUs and the province will work together based on technical and science-based data so that they are able to then partner to make more effective interventions at the local level.
This is probably the strongest partnership that I personally have experienced. And I think there are two reasons. One is this administration, President Aquino's administration, has pursued this inclusive growth agenda, which is very much similar to the bank's twin goals, which is to eliminate extreme poverty by 2030. And then the second is, middle-income country is growing very quickly, and they need new knowledge and technical know-how from different parts of the world. And this government in particular uses the World Bank very well in asking for specific technical advice and jointly developing new products. And this PRDP is one of those new products that we've been able to develop with the Department of Agriculture and the Philippine government. We hope that the PRDP can actually accelerate the implementation of this so that we can achieve the goal of inclusive growth of this administration faster, and that we can continue to actually focus on rural development under the next administration as well.
Sa lahat po ng partners natin sa Philippine Rural Development Project, ako po'y umaasa, ako po ay nananalangin na lalo pa po nating pagalingin, lalo po nating gamitin ang ating kagalingan para makakita na mas mga makabago at saka makatutulong na pamamaraan para sa mga susunod pong administrasyon ay lalo pong maging epektibo sa ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na po ang mas mabilis na pagbabago ng buhay ng maliliit na magsasaka at mangingisda sa ating pamayanan.
The Philippine Rural Development Project. Enabling communities, expanding opportunities.